So WrestleMania 27 has been and gone, and I really do not want to talk about the show. Um, so I'm not going to do a review. I am instead going to do the video that I said I was previously going to do, where I said I would book and build. Well, I'll do a video on how I would book and build WrestleMania 27 if I was booking the show. So move on to that. The first match I would have on the card would be, I'd have a tag team title match. The Hart Dynasty defending the titles against Ted and Brett DiBiase. Now, obviously, I would have the titles would still have to be on the Harts for this. I would have had the Harts keep the titles from when they originally won them back in, I think it was April, on that 3-hour draft Raw. And I'd have them beating every single tag team that had ever been put up against them, clean, gone over them, just toppled everybody that had been put in their path, and just build them up as, because they were at the time they were the best tag team that the WWE had, and I think until they broke up they were the best tag team that WWE had by a long way. I didn't like the fact that they broke them up, and I still don't like the fact that they broke them up. So I think they should have been built as the best tag team in the company. Eventually, 4 weeks before WrestleMania, you would have Ted DiBiase get a win over Tyson Kidd in a one-on-one confrontation, where Ted DiBiase rolls Kidd up and uses the tights to get the win. Now, next week on Raw, Kidd would call DiBiase out, call him a cheater, say that he couldn't beat Kidd and D.H. Smith clean in a tag team match. So Ted comes out and says that he had a feeling that Tyson might say something like that. So he looked around for a tag team partner, and he found the perfect person. He found his younger brother, Brett. So Brett comes up from FCW and teams with his brother Ted. Then the next week on Raw, I'd have Ted and Brett go over DH and Tyson respectively in singles matches, where they both cheat to win. They both cheat to win the respective matches. So it looks like the Harts are on the downward slope. But the next week, the Harts would come back. Tyson and DH would then go over Ted and Brett in the same way. They would cheat to win. So in a sort of anything you can do, we can do too sort of manner. So that would be my opener. I'll probably talk about how I would have each match go in a separate video at the end of it all. The second match on the card I would have would be Daniel Bryan versus Alex Riley. Now, Daniel Bryan winning the US title was probably one of the most positive things WWE did the whole of last year. Daniel Bryan being pushed as US champion was his matches against Dolph Ziggler were fantastic, and I think he was perfect US champion. Now, the way I would build this is I'd have Bryan come in and target The Miz, say around the end of February, at the end of January, the start of February, after he's beaten Randy on the Royal Rumble. So the start of February, and I'd have Daniel Bryan say that he wants a shot at The Miz's title, and Miz would sort of stave Bryan off, saying that he doesn't deserve a shot, and that. And the premise would obviously be that Bryan beat Miz for the US title, so Bryan therefore deserves another shot at Miz since he's become WWE champion. And Miz will say no because you're not ready or whatever, and he'll throw Riley to him and sort of put Riley in the way and say, if you want to get to me, you'll have to go through Riley. So it'd slowly build a feud up between Riley and Daniel Bryan, and culminate in a US title match at WrestleMania. And I think this would be a good match because I don't think Riley gets enough enough in-ring action, because he's associated with the Miz. He doesn't spend a lot of time in the ring. Whenever he does, he sort of tends to be squashed or made to look silly. And I think Riley's a pretty good wrestler. And I like the idea of two guys who didn't win NXT, who were both on the first and second season of NXT respectively, and neither of whom won, still coming up through the ranks and pushing and competing for one of WWE's top titles. So that would be my second match. My third match, I would have Money in the Bank. I think WrestleMania is, it's less. It's a lesser show without Money in the Bank, and I think it gives people who might not necessarily be on the card a chance to showcase themselves in a match that tends to be one of the highlights of the show, if not the highlight. This wouldn't require much build, so I'd just give the names of who I'd throw in there. I'd throw Kofi Kingston, Evan Bourne, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Dolph Ziggler, and John Morrison. I think the match sort of goes by itself. I just think those six would be good for it, and they're all sort of up and comers who haven't quite sort of solidified themselves as main eventers. I would not have had Dolph Ziggler win the title for like a minute or however long it was. No way. I think that just made him look stupid. Anyway, fourth match on the card, I would have the Divas Championship on the line. I would have Natalya defend against Beth Phoenix. Again, like with the Hart Dynasty, I would have obviously had Natalya keep the title. She wouldn't have lost the title at Royal Rumble to Eve. She would have kept the title. She would have been made to look strong all the way through. She would have kept her little partnership with Beth Phoenix. So it would have been Natalya and Beth Phoenix sort of off against Lakeall like they were for a while. The SmackDown before Elimination Chamber, there'll be a tag team match where Beth Phoenix and Natalya team up against Lakeall in a tag team match. And Beth walks out. Beth just abandons Natalya and walks out on her, and Natalya then loses the match. The next week on SmackDown, the week after Elimination Chamber, Natalya will come out. She'll call out Beth Phoenix, and she'll ask her why she walked down. Beth Phoenix will just beat the crap out of her, flatten her, take her out, glam slam. She'll pick up the Divas title. She'll point to it, and then she'll hold it above her head as if to say, "This is why I attacked you." So I'll build Phoenix as a bitch-ass heel. She'd go over, she'd crush two divas, I don't care who, the next 2 weeks on SmackDown, and I'd keep Natalya off TV altogether. So, 9 days before WrestleMania, Beth would come out and say something. She'd have a promo or something where she'd say something along the lines of, I killed the Divas champion, and that means I should be the Divas champion. And Natalya would come out. She'd get a little bit of payback, and then Beth would be sort of backing up the entrance ramp, and Natalya would grab a microphone and say that she'll put her title on the line to get Beth in the ring at WrestleMania. So there's that match. Fourth match on the card would be a singles match. I'd have Jack Swagger go one-on-one with Rey Mysterio. Now, I come into this match with Rey Mysterio sort of talking about his career, talking about all his accomplishments and everything, how he's achieved everything he ever wanted to in the business, and about how his career is slowly starting to wind down, and hint that this WrestleMania might be his last ever show. It would be his last ever WrestleMania, and that maybe after WrestleMania he's done with wrestling altogether. Swagger would immediately come out, and he'd remind Mysterio, "You were the one that took the title off me, and I never got revenge." And the Swagger would he would bear a grudge that he wasn't able to get his own back on Mysterio for taking the title off of him. So Swagger will claim that. Swagger will say that if Mysterio has the guts to step into the ring with him, that he will get revenge on him at WrestleMania. So Mysterio will say, "Yeah, fine. I'll give you your WrestleMania match." Later on in the show, I would have Mysterio get attacked by Swagger during a match with Dolph Ziggler. Swagger would come in and sort of work over Mysterio's ankle, and would go out of the ring to grab a chair, and Mysterio would just get away before Swagger could hit him with the chair. The next week, you have Mysterio hype the match with, he would say something along the lines of that Swagger is the new guard of WWE, that he's a future superstar, that he's a future multi-time world champion, and say that this match is a changing of the guard of sorts, but at the same time that whilst Swagger is the new guard, Mysterio is still there, and he's still got a lot of fight in him, and he's not going to go down easily. That he will still be putting up a fight for this match, and that he's not going to let Swagger get the victory. He's going to be the one that walks out of Wrestlemania with the win. Swagger will then attack Mysterio again, lock in the ankle lock, but Mysterio would counter, now Swagger with a 619, and Swagger would run out of the ring. The next week, there'd be a 6-man tag team match main event where two of the singles matches from WrestleMania on the SmackDown side of things, they would be involved against each other, and Mysterio and Swagger would also be involved. The ending of the sort of build for Swagger and Mysterio would be Mysterio and Swagger would both be on the top rope, and they'd be sort of battling it out, and they'd both sort of fly off the top rope and crash through the announcer's table at ringside. So that's how I build that would be my opening five matches. There are 5 more to come, probably 2 more videos because of the length, but that would be my undercard for WrestleMania 27. That would be how I book it. Like I said, do rate, comment, subscribe, and tell me how you feel about my booking. Other videos should be up shortly. Peace.